This is an example from the chapter Completing the Audit. So we have in a letter to the audit committee of Klein Wholesale Company, Jerry Schwartz, a CPA, informed them of material weaknesses in the controls over inventory. In a separate letter to senior management, he elaborated on how the material weaknesses could result in a significant misstatement of inventory by the failure to recognize the existence of obsolete items. In addition, Schwartz made specific recommendations in the management letter on how to improve the internal control and save clerical time by installing a new computer system for the company's perpetual records. Management accepted the recommendations and installed the system under Schwartz's direction. For several months, the system worked beautifully, but unforeseen problems developed when a master file was erased. The cost of reproducing and processing the inventory records to correct this error was significant, and management decided to scrap the entire project. The company then sued Schwartz for failure to use adequate professional judgment in making recommendations. So, like we talked about in the chapter, in that management letter, they will look through if they saw any internal control weaknesses or areas in the accounting that they could make improvements and become more efficient. So then that's what Jerry did. So he did what was expected of him to write that that letter to management that gave them some advice on what they could do to deal with some weaknesses that he saw in their internal control structure. So that part was good. So they followed his instructions, and then it ended up kind of going awry. So the question says, like, what is his legal and professional responsibility in the issuance of that management letter? So again, like I kind of already said a little bit, his responsibility is to make sound recommendations. So consider what really is going wrong and how he thinks it could be improved. Again, using his knowledge base and his judgment, and then not omit any information about any deficiencies that he saw in their system. So again, he's got to just be forthright and honest. So it sounds like he is. I mean, we don't know. We don't know enough about the computer system, but again, assuming that he had no personal motives for telling them to do that, he probably was using, again, his professional judgment and thought it would be the best thing for them to use this new computer system to keep track of these perpetual records. So it sounds like he did his legal and professional responsibility. Then it asks us to discuss the major considerations that would determine if he is liable. So I think first and foremost goes back to, did he exercise due care? Or would he be considered, that he was like negligent in his performance? Do you know what I mean? So did he exercise due professional care? And again, without knowing any other things than what's written in here, it sounds like he did. He did what he was supposed to do, identified deficiencies and gave some recommendations on how to correct those deficiencies. So it appears to me that he exercised due professional care. And then again, thinking back to business law, when we talk about negligence, it has to be somewhat foreseeable. There has to be like so caused harm to this company. Was the cause foreseeable? So it says right here in this text, it was unforeseen. So they were unforeseen problems. So it doesn't sound like they were foreseeable. So then I don't know that could be traced back to the actual cause. And then the final thing is, did they follow his directions? I mean, did they set up the system? I mean, Schwartz did not come up and set up the system. Did they follow his exact directions onto how to do it, or if another company came and set it up? Was everything set up properly? Was there not another party or their own negligence involved in causing this master file to get erased? So just because he gave them the advice to do it, he didn't set it up. And then, you know what I mean? He's not the one who's running it. So there could have been a variety of other people who are involved in this that would be liable. So that is just again kind of like a real life example of sometimes the liability cases that come up.